Welcome everyone to Ethereum Cat Herders meeting 60. I just have shared the agenda in chat. So the first item on the agenda is Ethereum Cat Herders website update, website testing, debugging, and maybe the next step. And this has been discussed on our call for past few weeks. So we have Michael joined in today. So Michael, if you would quickly like to sum up with where we are and when we can have this task completed.
Yep. So the website is pretty much done, aside from we're at the point where now we're just making consistent updates in relation to the new content that's being pushed out on the site, which is great. So the last step here is to integrate this into the existing GitHub workflow and have it be more maintained by the community itself via pull requests. And right now we are configuring everything and making the applicable notes so it's easiest for everyone in terms of the documentation. So we should have that up and ready to go by Thursday. I'd like to schedule something Friday if possible. I don't know how that works with everyone's schedule in terms of time. But what I'd like to do is that Friday, just kind of go over step by step. These are the main files. These are what they connect to. This is what you would edit, sort of just on a top level, and then just answer any questions that anyone may have, and then sort of hand over a, I'll just, for lack of a better term, a wiki page for all the documentation that'll have all this for any new coming members, so you don't have to rely on us necessarily, though we will be here to help. And then that's pretty much the last step, and then we just hand over the keys, so to speak.
That sounds great. Thank you for that. I believe, Santosh, you have been working on the testing and debugging part. If you have anything to share or maybe to bring into attention of Michael's that we may look into.
Not really. I've put all the findings, bugs, and all the updation which required in the document, which Pooja shared with me. I think, Michael, if you have any doubts, any clarification, you can just add a comment, or I'll be happy to help you.
Great.
Right. So, Michael, I might want to, that is a separate document, maybe. That was our old website document, but not the one that your team is referring to. So I will just transfer all the text there today.
Okay. Actually, if you wouldn't mind, if we could, just because the original document is getting just a little bit cluttered, if we could just make a new shared document.
There we do have that new document.
Okay. Okay, great. I'll just look for that link then after the meeting.
Sure, we'll do that. Okay, just one last question on this topic. Do we get to know the analytics of this website? Like, how do we keep track of it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually have Google Analytics tied into it, and you'll be able to pull from there.
Sounds good. So I hope to get it maybe on the Friday meeting.
Correct. Yep.
Pooja, I have one suggestion. I'm not sure if you already thought about it. Maybe we can have a option to add a newsletter, right? Basically entering the people's email ID so that they start receiving the newsletter from us. I saw that in the Medium post, but I don't think so. I found it in the website.
So the way we handle newsletter right now is with the help of ECH Medium. So anyone who has subscribed to Ethereum Cat Herders Medium will get the newsletter. So maybe we can add a link to our website saying that subscribe to Ethereum Cat Herders Medium in order to get the newsletter. So that's a good point. Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
And for Michael, I have shared the link of the document where Santosh have added findings there, list of findings there. Any more question, comment on this topic before we move on?
Yeah, just a question about timing. So someone's talking about a meeting this Friday to go over coaching of how cat headers can help maintain that stuff. That's going to be this coming Friday?
Yeah, that's just an arbitrary day. I could definitely, I'm open to any day that may work better. Also, to that question, I plan on recording this session as well, just for documentation purposes. So if you or anyone else for that matter is unable to attend whatever day we lock in for that meeting for training, I'll be more than happy to publish that video somewhere, so everyone has access to it.
Great. Yeah, that's, I wanted to make sure you're going to be recording it because, yeah, I will be at Lake Powell on that particular Friday. So, I mean, I'm probably not important enough to move it, but yeah, I would be able to attend if we moved it a week or so later. But anyway.
Oh, you are important, Brent. Your feedback has helped. It definitely helped us setting up the, the websites, HTTP, HTTPS things that we were discussing about. Michael, if you can, whenever you are planning to have that session, if you can just share that in the ECH Discord where we are discussing the website, it will be easier for more people to, say what works and what not.
Okay,
And
very good.
and yeah, and if you record it, that'd solve that
obviously.
problem.
Great, I'll do that. I'll propose a few dates in the Discord and then we'll just go from there.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving on, the next topic is blogs and survey. So Ethereum cat herders are going to publish a blog on London overview. Tim, if you would like to take over and speak for it.
Yeah, so I worked on a draft to just go over kind of the various EIPs in London and try to describe them. I think it's on the cat herders publication as a draft, so anyone who has access can probably look. Yeah, I'm actually looking for the link right now. Yeah, and I guess, yeah, if people want to have a look maybe today or something so that we can try to publish it tomorrow, that would be great. Here, okay, here's the link. But yeah, nothing too special. It just I can maybe share my screen if that helps. But it just goes over the different EIPs, kind of gives a short explainer for each of them, links things like the peep and eat videos when there are ones. And yeah, that's pretty much it. When we have the testnet blocks, we're going to make a testnet blog post on the Ethereum Foundation blog, and so we'll link this blog post as kind of a bigger description of the London upgrade.
Thank you, Tim. So the next part of this section is about Ethereum blockchain users and developers research. So there is this survey that we have shared on the 1st of June. It's a survey being done in association with Nethermind client and the Ethereum cat herders. We are trying to collect kind of feedback from users and developers community to maybe help understand what is the requirement for tools and documentation. I have added the survey link in the agenda. So far, we have received 31 responses, and it includes the miner, validator, H2 validator, on-chain projects, API service provider. We have been responded by some community members, researcher, core dev adjacent, and API providers. So if you haven't gotten a chance to respond to this survey, please take out time to respond. All these questions are 100% optional. And this includes questions like selection of Ethereum clients, interaction with ETH 1.0 client, maybe basic usage, documentation, and future expectation of Ethereum 1 and Ethereum 2.0 clients. So for the survey, so far the responses we have received, one of the few responses surprised us that there are still users of Parity Ethereum. There were 3 nodes, those are still being run by using Parity client. So we are requesting people to upgrade the node. Aragon is going to be the future because the Open Ethereum has now merged with Aragon. So that is going to be a future for people who are looking into parity. And there are other options, Nethermind, Hyperledger Besu, if they would want to change their clients. So all in all, it's a good feedback form to help Ethereum clients and development team to understand what as a member you would like to see. Again, consider responding. The link is provided in the agenda and the YouTube description box. Any question, comment?
Do we want to try and make an effort to reach out to groups that we know are using Open Ethereum just to make sure they're aware?
Yes, we are trying to, but we are also asking help from all the community members to share as much as possible. This survey is available on Ethereum Cat Herders Discord announcement section, also in the Twitter, Medium post. So yeah, feel free to share it. We already have.
I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing. You were talking about Open Ethereum Aragon?
I'm sorry, I was talking about the survey.
Okay, so about Open Ethereum Aragon, do we want to try and figure out what major infrastructure or like what major projects we know are running Open Ethereum and just touch base with them to make sure they know that they need to jump ship?
Ah, got you. Yeah, that would be the goal, of course. So we'll be sharing this data with those team. And Ronin, unfortunately, I have to mute you because there is some external noise. I'm sorry if you would like to try again. I can. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll unmute you again.
If anybody knows who's on Open Ethereum also, it might be worth it to come up with like a list. I mean, Gnosis obviously, but they are also the Open Ethereum team, so I think it's pretty safe to say that they're fine. Etherscan, I'm pretty sure, is on Open Ethereum. Those are the only two I know off the top of my head, though.
Yeah, I've reached out to basically those teams, and I'll be reaching out to more. Ronan, can you mute?
Do you hear anything about me? Hello?
You make a lot of noise and you sound like a robot. Oh, now it's better. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so I was saying, yeah, so I've been reaching out to teams that are using Open Ethereum, and yeah, I'll keep doing so. In the London hard fork post, it'll be clear that like it is being deprecated. So, you know, I think whenever you kind of discuss it, you should probably link to the post, but I don't think there's like much of a need for like an extra round of outreach.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just on that topic, Ronan is also working with Open Ethereum team, and he is here to talk on another topic that we had as like, I think it's on the new initiative, which is the next topic. So anyone looking for any help in like, you know, implementing that may reach out to him. And okay, that is a good segue of moving into the next agenda item. If there is any question, comment, we can still continue.
So, does anyone hear me? I'm actually working on 2 devices.
We can hear you better.
This is nice. Sorry about the noises before. Short introduction. I'm Ronan Kaisen, member of the Open Ethereum team and of the Aragon as well. I started to prepare myself with several nodes in Gurley about 14 days ago, and my experiences are quite fine. I wanted to ask or suggest anyone to get in little contact or in real little practice with Aragon as product. We're definitely at the very good first steps. Well, that's it from me right now.
Thank you for the introduction, Ronan. So yeah, there is this new proposal of having a channel created at Ethereum cat herders Discord as discontinued products and clients. That may be helpful for people who are looking for any kind of support related to any product that has been discontinued, like many user of Parity or the Open Ethereum in future. Maybe if they need any kind of help and support, they can reach us on that channel. So what do people think in general about having that created?
Sure.
Donian has volunteered to kind of respond to the users reaching out on that channel, maybe help out with clients or product services that as much as can be provided to resolve the issues with the discontinued products and clients. Okay, so that's about it. Yeah. So Ronin, if you want to talk on that, you just messaged on Zoom, helping the user with migration is my actual topic. Sorry, it looks like there is again some microphone issue, or he may have dropped. We'll get back to it later. So anyone has any question, comment on this, either on the survey part or on creating this channel? Okay. Antonio, thank you so much for joining us on the call today. We are happy to work and yeah, if you have to share something from client's perspective.
No, nothing to share at the moment. First and foremost, thank you for inviting me to the call. We are looking at ways to further kind of ways to collaborate with ECH. So this is just the first one, this survey. The survey derived from the ETH1 team at Nethermind. They're quite keen to understand, you know, the tools and documentations that existing developers would like, improvements, etc., but also making sure that there's a smooth transition when we have new developers coming into this space as well. So I think the survey will hopefully provide some answers to those questions.
Right. And we hope to publish the report, a detailed report based on the feedback received in the month of July. So the survey is open till 30th of June. Thank you, everyone. Moving on, the next sub-item of the ECH new initiatives are adding resources for Beacon chain upgrade. So currently the Ethereum cat herders website, there's a section called EIP resources where we provide information of all the available resources for any proposal. Like if you want to read about any particular proposal that is maybe expected in an upgrade or is being discussed. So we provide the curated list of resources there. So far, we didn't have it for Beacon chain, and now we try to add that section for Beacon chain upgrade as well. And we are also looking into some kind of maybe pointers for people who are new, and they can reach out to the group by their interest. So we'll kind of create some pointers on the Ethereum cat herders website as well. So these are a few things that we are considering other than the ongoing efforts that we are putting in creating resources for education purpose, like the PEEP NEIP, and we would also be having some more community calls. The next item is PEEP and EEP. In the last 2 weeks, we recorded 2 episodes on Altair, the beacon chain upgrade, one with Alex Stokes that was focused on accounting reforms, and the another one with Vitalik and Dani. And these were with other 2 features. Those are coming up with the Altair upgrade. It's a very good watch for everyone who wants to understand the Ethereum chain, Ethereum 2.0 chain, the beacon chain, as well as understand what are the changes that are being brought in the first upgrade with respect to penalty and reward and other stuff. So it's a good watch. The video is available on Ethereum Cat Holders YouTube. In the next 2 weeks, we have planned a couple of more recording, one for EIP 3541, which is expected with the London upgrade. The meeting is planned for tomorrow, June 9th at 18:30 UTC. And the next one is EIP 1559, that is with Timbiko, Barnaby, Micah, on June 15th at 1400 UTC. This proposal is also coming up with London upgrade. We already have recorded an episode on EIP 1559 about a year ago. So this talk is going to focus mostly on the changes that have been implemented since then. Any question, comment? Moving on, about the events and meetup, HCC Paris is planned. It's on July 20, I believe, 20 to 22, yeah. So this is an in-person event and they are inviting speakers. So if anyone is planning to attend the meeting in person there, or they would want to be a speaker, they can send their applications. Fellowship of Ethereum Magician are also thinking of hosting a council for people interested to have an in-person gathering. So if you are planning to go to the ECH and want to be meeting somewhere there, reach out to Anat Rolikova for that. Just curious, anyone from the group is planning to go to the ECH?
I had been thinking about it earlier in the year, but I don't think I'm going to make it.
Yeah, half of our team are attending. Unfortunately, Thomas and I are based in the UK, and it's a bit difficult for us because we have to be quarantined when we get there because we're all outside the EU now. So, yeah, so otherwise, we'll have to quarantine when we get there and quarantine when we get back. So we're trying to work out our plans. But half of our team will be attending.
Nice.
And presenting as well. So.
Oh, that's nice. If I do not join there, I will be happy to follow along. Okay, moving on, the next item on the agenda is ECH funding. So we have reached out to ESP and Mulak in past, and it seems that we are good with ESP. Tim, if you would like to take over and speak for it.
Yeah, sure. So basically, the Ethereum Foundation agreed to give a grant to the cat herders. So the grant covers 6 months of operations, I believe, plus a small portion to help pay for EIP editors. And, you know, most of, I guess the grant covers different things. Obviously covers Pooja's role, and it covers a couple new roles also that people had proposed. I think William and I forget who the second one, I believe, Santosh, you also had proposed kind of a part-time role. So yeah, so the grant will basically cover these 3 and some and also the kind of engineering work by Elita for the next 3 months. I think, you know, like the reasoning, I guess, at the EF is obviously people are very happy with the work that the cat herders have been doing, and you know, specifically one thing that's really valuable is when people kind of grow their contributions to Ethereum by like starting the cat herders. So, you know, when people kind of start out taking notes and then they kind of expand the scope of their role, you know, I think the EF sees that as like a very valuable like on-ramp for people to be part of the Ethereum community. And so that's something we kind of want to encourage with, you know, like not only funding Puja, but also funding all these different roles. I think the one thing like that the EF sees as like maybe a risk and that, you know, is worth kind of being clear about is a lot of times for organizations like the cat herders, it can be kind of hard to point to the actual thing that you did, because so much of the work is just like coordination and getting people together. So one thing that, you know, I would suggest is trying to capture like and be mindful about like creating things that you can kind of point to. So whether this is just like write-ups, documents, you know, when you do a survey to make sure that like you have a post explaining it and whatnot. Not only because that like helps other people kind of, you know, in the future know that this stuff has happened, but also because it kind of helps point to like, you know, we're paying this grant and these are the actual things that came out of it. And, you know, I think one of like the best examples of this recently is like the Peep and Eep series, which is obviously super valuable and, you know, not only like when the call is happening, but then they act as really good kind of historical videos that we can keep. And yeah, and being able to point to stuff like that makes it much easier to justify like follow-up grants. Yeah, so I'll kind of stop here, but I think, yeah, in general, you know, the EF really likes seeing people kind of onboard to the community through the cat herders. And you know, we want to encourage more of that. And, you know, I think the way to show that like this is working is by having kind of actual deliverables and pieces of content or things that we can point to. Yeah.
Do you think that reports for the EF are enough, or it actually has to be like external facing content?
I think it's actually better to have public things than to have reports for the EF.
Okay.
Like it's much better, for example, you know, to be able to say, like, again, I'll take Peep and Eep as an example, just to say, look, we did these 10 videos, here they are on YouTube. You know, you don't need like a 2-page explainer to like to explain that. Like, I think that those things are really the most valuable. So yeah. Yeah, like I guess another way to put this is like the EF doesn't want to like just sit on some internal report, right? Like it wants to see the impact that the cat herders have had on the community, and obviously like that stuff has to be public. So yeah.
Right. The thing that I'm trying to think about the most is in terms of trying to expand coordination and ecosystem coordination, which is something I'm really trying to focus on right now. Is like you point out exactly like how to quantify that into content. Like we might be able to do periodic pieces where we talk about places where we've had an impact as an article, but that's basically just the same thing as an internal report, just publicized.
Yeah.
But if it
I
looks
think,
better publicized, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think it actually does, because then not only does it like, you know, give the EF some understanding of what you've done, but also it tells the community this is what the cat herders are able to do, and it almost acts as a sort of content marketing
Catalyst.
for the cat herder. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would definitely encourage you to go public. I think, you know, for some of these stuff, like
Okay.
a very simple one is like, if there's meetings, you know, if you're hosting a bunch of meetings like within the community, like recording those and uploading them to the YouTube is obviously very valuable, and it's like something you can point to, right? Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, and I understand, you know, like, to be clear, I understand not 100% of like the work that you all do will be like, will have this type of deliverable. You know, that's just kind of the nature of like coordination. But because it's hard, I think that's why it's kind of worth, you know, being extra mindful about it, so that you don't like 6 months from now have a really hard time articulating what you actually did, because I think that's like the main risk of like why the EF would not like renew a grant like that, is just if it's like very hard to point to the actual concrete things that were done.
Got it. All right, cool. It's great advice. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, and to be clear, like I guess one more caveat is like, we understand, like, like especially your role, Santosh's role are kind of new, and it might take some time to like figure out exactly what the right thing is and whatnot. So like it's fine that like things are not like fully fleshed out and perfect in 3 months, right? Like we don't expect that. But yeah, I think it's something that's worth thinking about earlier rather than later.
Another risk that's occurred to me just with this conversation, particularly in the context of bringing on new resources to presumably start up new initiatives ongoing, is that we have a situation where future funding might be dependent on a small number of these key pieces of content. Peep and Eep is a good example. I challenge cat herders, Pooja, to have a think about where would those pieces of content sit if the resources who are responsible for coordinating them were to leave? I don't have an answer, but just something to think about.
Yeah, definitely trying to like share access. I don't know if like the cat herders has like a Google Drive or like something like that, but I agree. Like there's the Medium and there's the Discord and there's the YouTube channel that are all kind of not public, not fully public, but like where multiple people have like access to. Yeah, you don't want most of your stuff like in places where only the individual working on it has access. That's for sure.
Interesting. That's an interesting thought. I think the YouTube and the Discord are currently as kind of single keys. So yeah, that is something to think about. Just getting that level of redundancy there.
Yeah, it's not just access in this context. It's also about the activities themselves. So, for instance, God forbid, Pooja, you would just to decide to leave. How would cat herders propose continuing Peep and Eep, for example?
In terms of stops, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yep.
That's right. So we are trying to keep it as decentralized as possible. Like for Peep and Eep, especially if I can talk about it, the process is well defined and it is documented in a document. Maybe it's not that public or it was shared in earlier meetings, so people may get an idea of how does it work. And we have this public schedule that is available on Ethereum Cat Herders GitHub. So that is for that particular thing. But in general, we are trying to provide access to more and more people. Like, for example, Tim mentioned that we have YouTube and we have many contributors now that we have on Twitter. We have added more resources. Same for the GitHub. Adita recently requested access for that because she would be doing most of the engineering work here. So we have those things getting distributed. Thanks for bringing it up. But yeah, this is something that we should definitely keep it in mind. Santosh, you may be one of the most recent resources who have joined the Ethereum Cat Herders and would be going forward working in this direction. If you may have any question you would like to share with us.
Not at the moment. Definitely, maybe sometime in the next call, I might have some questions or some feedbacks. Sorry about it.
Sure, thank you. Thank you so much, Tim, for providing an overview of the expectation of Foundation with this grant and with this team. We really appreciate for considering Ethereum Cat Herders for this grant, and we hope we should be in a position to secure the next grant too. We'll try to keep everyone updated.
Yeah, and again, like, thank you all for your work. Like it's been really valuable, and I think it's been really great to see how like the cat herders have grown over the past 2 years. So yeah, and yeah, I'm glad we could finally get the grant processed after many times of trying.
All right. Thank you. So that's about it. And for the Moloch, for the time being, we will not be processing with the Moloch grant because we are good with ESP for some time. Maybe after a period of time when we think that we need it for maybe EIP editing work or any other new task, then we'll reach out to Moloch. All right. So the next item on the agenda is meeting notes and action item for cat herders. So we are documenting meeting notes for several meetings, and generally I requested the resource who has been documenting the notes to maybe come up and share the summary with the group, especially if there is any action item related to any of the tasks that is for cat herders per se. I'm not sure if anyone is available in the call today who would like to go through any of the meetings listed here. If not, I think we have a few action items from EIP meeting that I can remember on top of my head. And one of those was about an additional feature for current EIP bot. The issue is created in the EIP GitHub repo. I'm sharing here for people to refer to. We are looking for, it is available for the new EIP editors or people who are trying to be an EIP editor, anyone who is interested to look into this issue. The goal here is to move all the EIPs listed at Ethereum, eips.ethereum.org to an appropriate status. Requirement is listed, and there is some discussion in the meeting. I have referred to the recording. If anyone from this group or maybe who are listening to the meeting later on interested, please respond to the issue.
Do you know where the bot's code is?
I am not sure if Alita is on the call.
She is.
Alita, if you may have any visibility to the bot code.
Do you mind repeating the question?
The bot repo, like if someone wanted, who just discussing an item now about making the bot able to push EIPs into which one? Inactivity? Oh, withdrawn. If there hasn't been any activity on them for a year. So, and was looking for anyone who might potentially be able to do that. So I was just curious where the bot lives. Like if someone would be interested in doing that and wanted to take a look at the code first. Is there like a repo where the bot lives?
So this one is not going to be something that we want to handle with the bot itself.
This should be like just a custom script that's run once, or a separate bot entirely.
Yeah, so we need a separate bot because the whole
We need a
like
withdrawal bot.
thing,
Got it.
well, the way that like you do queues and stuff along those lines, or like you would call it like a cron task where you run like where you just check every EIP to see like whether or not it passes the criteria. Like all of that can be done with GitHub Actions, and it can be done with like a regular bot, but it's just worth like doing a different one. But with that said, something that I can definitely do. It seems a little bit like a bigger project. I mean, it's not as big as like the bot itself, like the EIP linting bot. So just let me know. I mean, I'm doing engineering work, so but I am focusing primarily right now on the EIP linting bot. So maybe once that's done, I can get onto that. Does that answer your question?
Sorry, I was on mute. So if this is not a feature to be considered for an existing bot, I might want to correct the header here. Is it appropriate to put it in like an additional feature for a bot needed for EIPs?
Yeah, it's fine to just have another bot. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So I have updated it. Just to be clear, Alita, at this point of time, do you think that inviting participation from community for this work would be good? I know this is not a very high priority work right now, but maybe an opportunity for people who are looking into some contribution to, give it a try.
I mean, yeah, if someone wants to hop in to write a recurring bot, that sounds interesting. I would be happy to help you out. Or anything along those lines. Again, though, I am doing the cat herders like engineering, so I can also do that. Admittedly, I don't have much. I don't work that much, but anyway.
Okay. Okay, so that was about it. And moving on to the GitHub issues and PRs, I see there are a few issues created by you. Would you like to share about it or what you are looking for?
Are these in the IP repo?
No, I'm talking about the Ethereum cat herders PM repo.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I'm just creating issues for project management, tracking things. If we wanna like if making the tickets in the repo itself, the PM repo is like not a good way of doing it, then I can track the projects like otherwise with task management and stuff otherwise in other places. It's really hard to run like I guess like in certain ways like a company, right? Because ECH is kind of a company or kind of has an organizational structure. Like it's really hard to run that kind of thing without like a proper task management, priority management, and like uh situation awareness tool or approach to task management. And so I was kind of treating GitHub as that. But Pooja brought up the fact that we might want to keep it like more top level on that repo, and that's okay. But I do think that we should invest in not necessarily financially, but we should invest in a more streamlined task management approach and prioritization.
That's a good point. So like so far, project board is being used for any kind of management or tracking purposes. Like if there are any tasks that we undertake and if someone wants to follow along the progress, project board has helped because we didn't have so much of engineering work. I primarily would like to see the cat herders be an issue, especially for people to bring into issues which might need attention of this particular group, the cat herders group, to discuss, or for the community to come and see if there are any opening for it. So for example, this one, find someone to help with JSON RPC work. I see that someone has already responded to it, saying that, okay, he would be interested into working. So if we need any more resource or we are still looking for that, we are continuing the search, we can keep it open. But if we think that, okay, fine, this is done, we can just check it and move it to the another table. Does that sound reasonable and can be manageable?
So yes, that's totally fine. I think I think the primary issue is like I guess like the projects and stuff like with like the check boxes and stuff on the issue. But if you wanted to like track tickets in a project, you would need to create tickets and issues, which is like kind of back to the original issue of not having a solid approach to that. Maybe there's a different way of doing it. I mean, I agree that like having the issues page is awesome. But there's other ways to like kind of communicate that to people, like the fact that we have a website that's now, right? We have a proper website, so you could easily just make a web page on there that just kind of talks about issues or like links to it or
Yeah, right.
whatever certain issues specifically.
Yeah, right. The primary focus of having this issue section is obviously to bring issues to the cat herders group, but I want to keep it open for community as well if they feel like they have something that they would like to be addressed. Like we had this thing done in past, somebody requested for some help with BSU team or some documentation for BSU team. They created an issue. There was this request to update certain chart that was available for network upgrade process. So we addressed that. So it should be accessible for people to come and, kind of add their issue.
So I think it is accessible, like even if we don't, keep it super clean. You can also use tags and stuff to organize things. Like essentially, I guess my point is that like the argument or the complaint that I was making too many issues is like totally valid. I just kind of I think it would be beneficial if we had some system that you're happy with of task management that's like socialized. Because I don't see one right now, which is totally fine. Maybe we can create a new repo, maybe we can use Notion. Whatever it is, I think it's worth doing. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, I think it's great,
Right, maybe we can work on this together, but if anyone else has any suggestion to how to deal with this kind of situation management as well as technical progress on the task, feel free to jump in. Or yeah, you can always reach out to me or Alita and we can work on this together. All good. Moving on to the next item. Okay, so we have completed the funding of most of the issues created here in the funding issue. I believe 2 of the recent one that was created a couple of days ago is not fulfilled. We'll try to fulfill that request at the earliest. And rest all, if you have received the funds, please go ahead and close the issue. Going to the next item, review of outstanding action item from previous ECH meeting. Choose a .crypto domain name for ECH. So yes, this is what we discussed in the last meeting, that we would like to have a cat herders domain, .crypto cat herders domain. I reached out to the team. I'm waiting on their response. I'll update as soon as I get any answers from the team. Find a Moloch member to propose our funding. I don't think it is needed at this point of time because we are trying to postpone it for some time. Continue with ESP, Puja to organize Blockcast limited discussion meeting. So this is one of the meeting that we discussed in the past that we would like to organize. I'm working on it, and yeah, it might take some time getting more concrete. I'm trying to reach out to the speakers and maybe the right participant for the meeting. I'm maybe taking help of Santosh in that to get this thing organized. The last one is to ask for legal advice regarding the Nethermind invoice. For this time, for the month of May, we have not submitted any invoice, and we have requested the team that we would be coming up in June with combined May and June invoice. And they kind of agreed. And for being a legal entity, we did talk to a couple of people in the space, and so far the responses that we have received is like, it would be good to go with a particular structure of organization, yet the need of getting it registered like as early as possible is not that prominent. That's how it appeared to me. So we are taking some more time to think in this direction. If anyone has anything else to share on it.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds great, Puja.
Thank you. So yeah, we are taking a step back at the moment for this, but we will continue working with Nethermind or any other team that we would like to do in future, and we'll try to be as a working group itself only for the time being. So that's all from the agenda. Is there anything else that anyone would like to bring up for the meeting today?
So for the JSON RPC, I talked with Pooja about the possibility of like the cat herders handling the funding for the person that we hire. This is associated with Nethermind and would require that Nethermind pay the cat herders directly. I can reach out to their financial department and I guess try to get in touch with people. I'm having some difficulty in communications along those lines, but in any case, would the Ethereum cat herders be willing to handle the distribution of funds?
From where I see, it looks okay to me, because we did it in the past for 1559 outreach. The funds were provided to Ethereum cat herders multisig, and whoever worked on that task, they created a request for funding in the issue that we have, especially for funding out resources, and that's how it managed. Do you see it in any different ways, or if people have any other thoughts on that?
No, it would be the exact same. I just don't know if there's like a socialized process that we follow for this. It seems like a core responsibility, or I guess sort of like hole that the cat herders fill, is the sort of like distribution of funds, kind of like HR in many ways, like the core of Ethereum core. But I'm not sure if there's like a socialized or documentation on how we do it, how like, you know, what I should tell Nethermind specifically on how to communicate and process the funds, what address, etc. And how we can get it all in like writing and be very public about it and transparent. So in any case, do we have any document like that?
We have just one multi-sig sheet that we maintain at our end, stating what amount of fund has been allocated to which resource and for what purpose. If that is something that can be managed and helpful, happy to share.
Yeah, that would be super helpful.
Sure. Though I don't know any legal implication, if there are any for this management of fund, I would like to bring it up to the Ethereum cat herders multi-sig signer, and then we'll confirm you whatever their thoughts are.
Sure, and I think more generally, I guess it would just kind of be my suggestion in many ways, to kind of write documentation for all of these processes. Just, I mean, from my experience working in industry with, you know, startups and general groups that are forming, having clear documentation is how you sort of prevent one person from holding the reins, which is always just dangerous, but in any case.
That's right. We are evolving and we are trying to get more and more documents in place. That's a nice suggestion. Thank you. All right. I don't know, Ronin, if you got your microphone fixed or if you would like to speak for that particular item.
Sure. Can as I hope I switched to my iPad, and I like to thank you for the invite. Very interesting. I did not understand everything, but it's quite clear for the first time, and I enjoyed.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It gave me a conclusive overview what cat headers are engaged in, which was really good and interesting. I guess we could continue our dialogue on Discord a little later.
Sure.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. See you all in 2 weeks. Have a good one, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks, Pooja.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.